Good morning students, welcome to the online classes of Training Memories in Secondary School. Today we are going to start our section 1 for unit number 7 for class 8. The name of the chapter is I Have a Dream. Basically this is a speech from Martin Luther King. Okay. So let's start the chapter. We'll go through the chapter with surprise for you. Okay. There is something that I must say to my people who stand on the one threshold which leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from a cup of bitterness. Now, what Martin Luther King is saying, basically he is addressing his own people, his Americans, fellow Americans. Basically he is addressing the black peoples, because there was a lot of discrimination for black people until Martin Luther King came to the fore. Okay. Now he says that he must say to the people standing here in the crowd, in the public basically, and he says that they are standing in the palace of justice. Now he says that in the process of rightful place gaining, we should not be guilty of wrongful deeds. We should not do anything that is not good, that is not right. We should not satisfy ourselves for our thirst of freedom by drinking from cup of bitterness. We should not go for the hatred against the white ones. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. He emphasizes on two words, that is dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence. He is stopping his people not to go for the physical violence. Basically, he was a follower of Mahatma Gandhi. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. Now he says that we should rise to the majestic heights of physical force with soul force. He says that we should interchange physical force with soul force. We should use the soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to distrust of all white people, for many of our white brothers, as evidenced by the presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny and their freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone. Now he's saying we should not fight against the white people, because you can see that along with you there are a lot of white people in the crowd too, and they have realized that their destiny is attached with our destiny, the black people. Okay, and he's saying that they have understood that their freedom is interconnected with our freedom. Now he says, as we walk, we must make the pledge. We should take the pledge that we shall march ahead. We cannot turn back. There are those who are asking the devotees of civil rights, when will you be satisfied? Now he says, he is asking a question from those who asked the black person that when will you be satisfied? You got everything, whatever you want. We can never be satisfied as long as we are unable to get lunch. If after a fatigue, after traveling and getting tired, if we cannot get the hotels, the lodge to stay, to take rest, we are not going to satisfy. We need the similar things that the white people get. Okay. We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro's basic mobility is from a smaller ghetto to a larger one. That Negro is allowed to move to any city, any area. We can never be satisfied as long as a Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and a Negro in New York believes that he has nothing for which to vote. We need right to vote also. Every Negro should get the right to vote also. Negro means the black people. No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice falls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. So he says we are not going to get satisfied until justice rolls down. Okay, we need justice, we need equal rights. He says, I'm not unmindful that some of you have come here out of great trials and tribulations. Now he says that I know how you faced difficulties just to come here and stand along with others. Some of you have come afresh from narrow cells. Some of you have come from areas where your quest for freedom left you battered by the storms of persecution and staggered by the winds of police brutality. He says that yes, I know that you have also faced police brutality, and then you have crossed every obstacle in your path, and you have came here and gathered here. Continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering is redemptive. He says that keep your faith alone, keep your faith and do what you are doing. Go back to Mississippi, go back to Alabama, go back to Georgia, go back to Louisiana, go back to the slums and ghettos of our northern cities, knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. He says, now go back to your native places and just have faith that this thing will change one day. He says that in spite of difficulties and frustrations at the moment, he still have a dream. Martin Luther King has a dream. He has a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. He says he have a dream that one day the nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. That we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. Now he says one day America will rise and will live up to its slogan, its creed, what it believes, that we hold these truths that all men are equal. I dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at a table of brotherhood. That everybody, whether it's the former slave or their sons, or the slave owners or their sons, they will sit together and eat together on the table of brotherhood. He says, I dream that one day in the state of Mississippi, a desert state sweltering with heat of injustice and oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. Now he says, just like the state of Mississippi, it's a desert. He knows that it's a desert, but he has hope that one day it will become an oasis. Oasis is a place where the water is found in deserts. I dream that my 4 children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. They will not be judged by the color of their skin, actually he is saying. I have dreamed today, I have dreamed that one day the state of Alabama, whose governor's lips are presently dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, will be transformed into a situation where little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls and walk together as sisters and brothers. Now he's talking about the state of Alabama. The governor there is not helping the black ones, but one day he will also start helping them. He will also start encouraging the black ones. And Martin says that small boys and girls, whether it's black or white one, they will go hand in hand. They will go together as brothers and sisters. And he says he have a dream that one day, he has a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low. That means they'll climb every obstacle, they'll go through every obstacle that they are going to confront now. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. He says everybody will see that one day everyone will be equal. Now he says, this is our hope, this is our faith with which I return to the south. This is the hope with which I return to south. With this faith will be able to view out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith we'll be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith we'll be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. Now he says, we'll go all together, we'll struggle all together, and we know that we'll be free one day. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Now he says, from each and every part of America, the struggle for freedom should arise for black ones. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous peaks of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and every molehill of Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. We will let freedom ring. When we let freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Now he is encouraging all the people from all the parts of the country, from all the parts of the USA to go together to fight for the freedom of the blacks, to get into the struggle for freedom of blacks. Okay. And he says that I need everybody to do this. If we go through this in the way that I'm telling you, the last words will be that we are free finally. Oh God, we are free finally. This is basically an extract from Martin Luther King's. So actually, he gave some more speech, but this is an extract from that one. Okay, I hope you understood it in better way. Hope you like the video. Press the like button, share our video, subscribe to our channel. I promise you to meet in our next class. Till then, take care. Have a nice day.